The Sony WH-1000XM5 headphones have one of the most revered family trees in modern audio history. Following two best-in-class over-ear noise-cancelling headphones, the XM5s land with a level of anticipation that's unusual in the world of personal audio. TechRadar deservedly awarded the Sony WH-1000XM3s and XM4s top marks in their respective reviews, and so the expectation is that the WH-1000XM5s will follow in those perfect audio footsteps. In terms of their specs and performance, they mostly do follow their predecessors, perhaps a little too closely, but more on that later. In terms of design, the new Sony cans represent the biggest departure in that family tree, but are the design differences enough to raise the already high bar that Sony has set for itself? The best way to quickly describe the WH-1000XM5 headphones is that they're a bit curvier than their predecessor. It's all a bit tidier, a bit sleeker. There are fewer visible points of articulation, more discrete noise-cancelling mic ports, and a slimmer headband with additional leather look covering to hide away its joins and extension points. The cavity for your ears to sit in is a slightly different shape too, a more squat ovoid than the oval of the XM3s and 4s. Though we've not stress tested them to their absolute limits, these slide out extension points feel sturdier than earlier designs too, with fewer pressure points that could snap away. But there are some changes that may not be so welcome. Frustratingly, there's still no water resistance of any kind here. And as the headphones can no longer fold in on themselves, they're not quite as portable as they once were. And finally, while the headband is better, it feels as though it has less padding than previous Sony headphones in the line. That may all be a little bit of a moot point though. In our experience, they're no less comfortable as a result, and they can happily sit on your head for long listening sessions. There's ample padding around the ears, and the cups twist and pivot to suit all sizes, with just the right amount of clamp of pressure exerted from the band to keep them in place without squeezing your brain out through your ears. That headband now smoothly extends too, rather than using the step extension system of earlier versions. Controls are largely the same as the 1000XM4 headphones. There are two physical buttons on the left ear cup edge. The first cycles between noise cancelling and ambient awareness settings, and you can now use a couple or trio of taps of the ANC button to activate either Spotify tap or NDEL quick access, letting you fire up and play the music from your streamer or meditation apps respectively without getting the phone out of your pocket. The second is a power button, which you can keep held down to activate Bluetooth pairing mode. You'll also find the exterior to the right ear cup is touch sensitive. Swipe up and down on it to change the volume, double tap to pause the audio and answer calls, and cover it with your palm to instantly jump into ambient awareness mode. There's also still a USB-C charging port on the right cup, and a 3.5mm headphone jack on the left. That curvier design is intended to reduce wind drag across the headphones, which can cause annoying distortion in noise-cancelling performance when out and about on a windy day. A more aerodynamic design here should help to reduce that effect. And while we've not run headfirst into a hurricane, that claim did hold up pretty well on a breezy London day. The second obvious addition is a doubling of the amount of microphone ports housed on the headphones. This provides the onboard noise-cancelling processors more audio data to analyze in an effort to improve the active noise-cancelling performance. The extra mic points also double the amount of beamforming mics near the user's mouth for calls, and so the call quality, according to our critical buddies, was crystal clear. Despite all of these additions, the headphones are actually lighter than the previous model, weighing just 250 grams, which is 4 grams lighter than the previous version. On top of this, they use plastics in their construction made of recycled car parts to up their green credentials. There's a much welcome included carry case with the latest Sony over-ear headphones. Made of a grey fabric, it's somewhat collapsible, offering a little more bag space when using the headphones. Just don't expect them to flatten down into paper-thin design. Active noise cancellation features have long been the hallmark of the Sony WH range, and the WH-1000XM5 headphones continue that fine tradition. It must have been difficult to top the superb performance of the previous generation, and admittedly, it's not a world apart from the XM4 model, but there is a definite, if slight, improvement. The XM4s already effectively wiped out low frequency sounds, but the XM5s work harder at higher frequency zones. That's in part thanks to the new 30mm driver design that takes some of the bite off higher pitched sounds. Active noise cancellation is the headline act among a whole bunch of smart features that Sony has included in the XM5 headphones, many of which automatically kick in without you needing to do anything. First up, location awareness. By pairing your smartphone, the WH-1000XM5 headphones can learn your daily routine and adjust ambient sound control settings according to your location. If the headphones can spot that you're sat still at home, they might just jump to a less intense level of noise cancellation compared to while you're sat in the office, and it's all based on your preferences. Speak to chat is another handy feature. As its name suggests, if you begin talking while listening to the headphones, they'll halt playback and pump in ambient sound so you can continue to have that conversation without taking the cans off. But much like the XM4s before them, they come with an unfortunate side effect. It'll stop playing if you begin singing while the feature is switched on. Thankfully, it is an optional feature, so if you think of yourself as the next Pavarotti, you will still be able to treat your surroundings to your lovely dulcet tones without interruption. A more immediately useful and intuitive feature is the automatic pausing audio when you remove the cans from your head, and that's all thanks to a hidden sensor inside the ear cup. Leave them off for a little longer and they'll automatically switch off completely, saving your battery life. You've also got the option of connecting two devices at once, switching between the two depending on what's happening on each device. Finally, there's better support for voice assistants and their wake words. I don't want to set your devices off right now, but just know that you can activate Google and Amazon Smart Assistants hands-free by their respective trigger commands, and then they can be used in very similar ways to all of your other devices. A nice touch is the safe listening section of the app. The headphones are constantly logging the decibel level and sound pressure of your listening sessions, and it lets you know how close you are coming to the recommended weekly loud noise allowance as defined by the WHO. The app also tracks the amount of time that you've spent listening to the headphones too, and awards gamified badges for using different features of the headphones over time. It's a shame then that it seems to only be possible to log your time used when connected to a device with the app running, rather than keeping this data on board the headphones themselves. You won't get any log of time spent listening to a connected laptop, for instance. There's very little sound leakage too. Sat in an office next to a colleague, they didn't register any sound even when the volume was ramped to its highest setting, which is an improvement over last year's version based on what those around us said at the time. There weren't many areas the Sony WH-1000XM5s could have improved on over last year's XM4s, but one area many were hoping for a jump in performance was battery life. Sony is claiming that a slight improvement has been made here. While the 30 hours with noise cancelling activated matches its predecessors, 40 hours with noise cancelling switched off is a 2-hour improvement over the XM4s. That may be a little disappointing to some of you, as competitors are beginning to squeeze out more battery life per charge, but the quality of the other features offset any loss to the competition here, particularly in terms of the noise cancelling abilities. And we think that the 30 to 40 hours of playback is more than respectable enough. But the question is, do Sony's playback estimates hold true? And from our experience, we'd say that they're broadly right. We appeared to not quite reach the advertised 30 hours with ANC switched on, but also tended to crank the volume up louder than the average person would, and so expect to see the battery drain a little faster in line with the higher volume. Sony definitely put effort into the charging experience generally though. Using the USB PD standard, you'll get 3 hours of playback from just 3 minutes of charging the headphones. On sale now, the Sony WH-1000XM5 headphones will begin to ship from May 20th, 2022, priced at $399, a significant step up above the $349 asking price for the previous generation. At launch, you're looking at around a $50 saving by choosing the XM4s, and that's a sizable chunk of change. But perhaps more importantly, it's a gap that we could see widen as the year goes on and we drift towards those big shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. At some point in the future, we're likely to see the XM4s dip below the $300 mark before plummeting to half price. And at that price, the Sony WH-1000XM4s are a no-brainer. In short then, the Sony WH-1000XM5s are the best headphones in the world thanks to their class-leading noise cancellation features and well-balanced audio. A steeper price point and the similar functionality to previous models make the XM5 headphones just a slightly tougher sell than before though. So are you going to be saving some dollars and waiting for the XM4s to go on sale? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, remember to leave a like on the video, subscribe to TechRadar here on YouTube, and we'll see you on the next video.